Good morning, children. Children, today we shall again continue with the chapter 2.5, Let's March by Kailash Satyarthi. And this is video 4. Now, when you look at this picture, it's one of the best pictures I've ever seen. Look at this man and look at the children around him. They all look so happy, so peaceful, no? Children, regarding the title, I told you I will be explaining you what the title means as we go on with the chapter, right? You can see what is he doing? He's holding hands of the children. He's holding their hands and he's marching with them. He's walking with them together. Last time we did about this lesson, we spoke that it is a speech. And in this speech, what is he saying? He's saying, let's march together. See, this is what it means. You're doing something good, let us do it together. When you walk together, there is unity and there is strength. The prize of freedom, okay, happens together. Last class, I left you with a question. We know everything, but we stay calm. हम खामोश रहते हैं, सब कुछ दिखता है हमको. हाँ, दुनिया में सब हो रहा है ना ये. We stay calm. Are we humans? That was a question you had to answer too. Are you just going to let all this happen and not say anything? Are we going to be quiet, stay calm? No, we cannot, right? Let's proceed with the chapter. Now, this is the speech, remember, okay, by Kailash Satyarthi. My journey from the great land of Lord Buddha, Guru Nanak and Mahatma Gandhi, India to Norway is a connect between the two centers of global peace and brotherhood, ancient and modern. Such a lovely way, to give your speech. He said, my journey from the great land. From means from India, because he is from India. Great land. He calls India as a great land. Remember, children, this ceremony is happening where? In Sweden. Now, this is where the Nobel Peace Prize takes place. Children, this is a place in Sweden. This is the building, okay? And this is the map of Sweden. So, you can look, India. This is a map of India. This is a map of Sweden. And he says, my journey from the land of Lord Buddha, Guru Nanak, Mahatma Gandhi, India to Norway is a connect between two centers of global peace and brotherhood. Ancient, India is ancient, and modern. Did you get that? And there you can see this is the Nobel Peace Prize. Okay, this is what it looks like, the medal. Friends, the Nobel Committee has generously invited me to present a lecture. He's supposed to give a lecture, right? By the Nobel Committee. Respectfully, I am unable to do that because I am representing here the sound of silence, the cry of innocence, and the face of invisibility. I represent millions of those children who are left behind, and that's why I have kept an empty chair here as a reminder. Now he's on the stage, he's giving a lecture. He's saying, but when you have to give a lecture, you have to speak. But here he's saying what? I am representing the sound of silence. Now put the meaning, your children, down below. The sound of silence is what? Unheard plea of the deprived. Unheard. What is heard means when you hear, and unheard means जिसका सुनाई नहीं देता है हमको, ना? Unheard plea of the deprived. Plea is what? When somebody is begging you. Now I want you to look at this picture. Look at this little girl. She's actually such a beautiful child, children. But look at, just because she's a poor child, she's neglected, nobody is looking after her, She's a garbage picker. Okay, she picks up all the garbage. You can see, no, garbage means kachra. Okay, now see her face. Look at her. She's so sad. Look at her eyes, children. She's so sad. Okay, now this, if children are like this in our world, in our country, in our world, can we just be quiet, children? Don't you think we should do something? The sound of silence, unheard plea of the deprived. Then he said that I am representing that, the cry of innocence. Children are very innocent, no? And the face of invisibility. Face of invisibility. Visible means what? जो दिखता है. Invisible means बहुत सारे ऐसे मुश्किल है बच्चों का जो दिखाई नहीं दे रहे, ना? So face of the invisibility, unnoticed suffering of the poor and innocent, ना? मासूम लोगों का जो दर्द है वो दिखाई नहीं देता हमको. Okay, so who is representing that? Kailash Satyarthi. He's telling, I am representing, and I represent millions of those children who are left behind, and that's why I have kept an empty chair here as a reminder. He's saying there are still more children I have to save. I have left behind. So therefore I have left an empty chair. He's kept an empty chair there as a reminder कि ये जगह को हमको भरना है और बहुत बच्चों को बचाना है मुझे. Did you understand? That is what he's trying to say. I have come here only to share the voices and dreams of our children. Wow. He said, I have come here to share the voices. इन लोग के आवाज मुझे share करना है because they are all our children. The children, when we take the pledge, what we say? All Indians are my brothers and sisters. बोलते हैं कि नहीं? हाँ? If we say that they are all ours, shouldn't we do something about them? Gesture to everybody in the audience. You know what? He's gesturing means he's making an action. He's saying these are all our children. I have looked into their frightened and exhausted eyes. Frightened. Look at this child. She's so frightened. She's so exhausted. Exhausted means tired. Look at her. She's full of dirt. No? Full of dirt. Poor child. Okay? And I have held their injured bodies and felt their broken spirits. He's saying, I have held the bodies of, children who are injured, means just jakmi hua hai na bachcho ko, and held their broken spirits. You know what is a broken spirit? When you cry inside and nobody notices you. Okay? 20 years ago, in the foothills of the Himalayas, I met a small, skinny child laborer. He asked me, is the world so poor that it cannot give me a toy and a book, instead of forcing me to take a gun or a tool? Okay, he meets one child because he is a person who has been roaming around the world, no? So he goes to the foothills of the Himalayas and there he sees a skinny child. Skinny means very thin, very weak child, kamzor bacha. And what is the child asking him? Is the world so poor? क्या दुनिया वाले इतने गरीब हो गए कि मुझे खिलौना नहीं दे सकता है, मुझे किताब नहीं दे सकता है, लेकिन मेरे हाथ में क्या बंदूक दिया है, हथियार दिया है. You can see these children are from the Himalayas children. They are forced to take the gun. Okay, which is wrong. I met with a Sudanese child soldier. He was kidnapped by an extremist. Multisha. Okay. Now this word, okay, you can pronounce it either way, children. There are two ways to pronounce this word. You say Molisha or you say Melisha. How do you pronounce it? Molisha, ya Melisha. Okay. Extremist, Molisha or Melisha. Now, what is extremist, Molisha? Molisha means we're talking about, extremist means the terrorist. Okay. What they do, the terrorists? They kidnap children and they give them training and they make them also terrorists. Did you get that? Okay. So, here this is happening in Sudan. Sudan is a place, you know that. Sudanese. Now, Sudan, those who are from Sudan, they are known as Sudanese. Okay. So, he was kidnapped. One of the boys. Okay. This is just a picture. One of the boys from Sudan, he was kidnapped and he was given training. Okay. Lesson. Why? With the gun. Why? Because they wanted to make him the terrorist. And he was forced to kill his friends and family. He asked me, He asked me, what is my fault? Can you imagine? The terrorist has kidnapped the boy from Sudan. So he's a Sudanese child soldier. And he was forced to kill who? His friends and family. And that boy, when he was saved by Kailash Satyarthi, you know what he is asking him? What is my fault? Mera kasur kya hai isme? Okay? Why did they force me to kill my friends and family? So sad, no? Children. Friends, all the great religions teach us to care for our children. Jesus said, let the children come to me. Do not hinder them, for the kingdom of God belongs to them. Look at this picture. This is Jesus sitting with all the children. One is sitting on the lap, one is sitting down. Look at them. They're all smiling there. No? Jesus has said in the Bible, let the children come to me. Do not hinder. Hinder means roko mat. Let them come. Because for the kingdom of God belongs to them. You know, it is said in the Bible, if you don't become like children, you will never enter the kingdom of God. Now, what does that mean? That means you must have the heart of a child. Okay. Now, the Holy Quran. Okay, you can see the Holy Quran here. What does it say? Kill not your children because of poverty. Don't kill your children because, you are poor. Don't do that. Friends, there is no greater violence than to deny the dreams of your children. Therefore, I refuse to accept that all the temples and mosques and churches and prayer houses have no place for the dreams of our children. So he's saying there is no greater violence. You know what is violence, okay? So, अगर हम बच्चों का dream fulfill नहीं करेंगे, that is the greatest violence, okay? So he's saying there is no greater violence. Means this is the greater violence when we are not fulfilling, when we deny. Deny means जब हम लोग ना बोलते हैं, किसको ना बोलते हैं? बच्चों का ड्रीम्स को, ओके? जब हम लोग वो कबूल नहीं करते, जब हम लोग करते नहीं बच्चों के सपना जो पूरा है, बच्चों का क्या सपना है? पढ़ना है, आगे बढ़ना है, कि नहीं? Now you can see this picture here, the children. I'm sure some of you are waiting now when everything will get over, the lockdown, and when I will go out and play in the park. No, some of you like to do all this, right? So therefore, I refuse to accept all the temple. You see, I don't. Temple, church, and mosques, what they are supposed to do? They are supposed to fulfill the dreams of the children. So I refuse to accept that all the temples and mosques and churches have no place. अगर church, mosque में अगर बच्चों के लिए जगह नहीं है, तो क्या फायदा है कि नहीं? So I refuse to accept. मैं वो कबूल नहीं करता हूँ. Okay, he meant that. Now this is the meaning, children. You have just two meanings of phrases. The sound of silence means what? Unheard plea of the deprived. Unheard means जो सुनाई नहीं देता है. Plea means where you beg, no? And deprived is what? Deprived is जिसको नहीं दिया जाता है. Okay, गरीब को जो नहीं देते हम लोग उसको deprived बोलते हैं. Now, face of the invisibility. I already explained invisibility. That is unnoticed suffering of the poor and innocent. This is already explained to you. Now, you have a homework, children. On page number 79. What does Satyarthi refuse to accept? You already got the answer. I'm not going to tell you the answer. Okay? That's there in your textbook. So, you are going to do it on your own. I hope you're writing the meanings and you are studying all the meanings. Please, children, please study. If you don't study, you'll find it difficult. Okay? Thank you for all that listening here that you've given me. I want you to do the assignment. Okay? I want you to leave with this note. Listen to this carefully. Children need to learn to take responsibility for their actions so that they do not become adults believing that nothing is ever their fault. Many a time, children do not do anything at home. जिम्मेदारी लेते ही नहीं है. Okay? So what happens when they become adults? They believe that nothing is ever their fault. हमारा कुछ fault नहीं है क्योंकि कुछ जिम्मेदारी नहीं लेते. समझ में आया? When you take responsibility and you do something wrong, then you say, okay, I did it. I'm sorry. So is your parents telling you to do something right, some responsibility? Do it, children. Okay? So you will become good adults. Okay? Thank you, children, once again, and God bless you.